War Thunder's latest update, Kings of Battle, is finally here, which means it's time again for us to take a look at some of the changes and additions that you might have missed. Let's start by taking a look at a new effect that was added to APFSDS rounds when you fire them, that being the visualization of the discarding sabot petals themselves. Now, of course, if you do happen to play at a BR where vehicles are firing APFSDS, this should be pretty obvious. However, I'm making an exception for this and mentioning it because their implementation on the dev server was hilarious. The petals were way overtuned, and APFSDS shells acted like mini shotguns when firing from an autocannon. And a fellow creator even managed to replace the petals with custom assets, which resulted in predictably comical results. And the usual caveats of "don't try this at home, lest you want to get banned," apply here. Speaking of things that are overtuned, machine guns can now destroy bushes very easily, which is cool, but they can also deforest entire areas of trees. And unlike the APFSDS petals, this one actually made it to the live server. Next, let's take a look at the new map Flanders. Oh look, something is scouted near the B point, but there's no enemies there, so what could possibly be there? A ghost? Well, Halloween has come and gone in the time it took me to make this video. It's actually just a scoutable train. But that's not where the weirdness ends. The train also comes with a damage model. And actually, while we're on the topic of maps, the 3-cap version of Port Novorossiysk is gone. And just like White Rock Fortress and my dad who left to get milk, I'm sure it will be back soon, any day now. Gaijin has also shuffled around the capture points and spawn points on quite a few maps, and luckily most of them are pretty positive changes and good for gameplay. However, the C point on Alaska got shifted ever so slightly to the left, which means it no longer lines up with the road. Anyways, Gaijin has also made some pretty important changes to research, the most important of which is of course the change they made to the RP icon. It was switched from dark mode to light mode. Whoever did this really has a sense of humor, since their icon is a literal light bulb. On a more serious note though, let's talk about the new skill bonus and why it's actually better than it looks on paper. At first glance, it's pretty easy to come to the conclusion that this is a change that mainly benefits the most skilled players. And while that may be true from an RP perspective, there's actually more to it if you look past the surface level, because it's unlikely that most players will reach the full skill bonus in their first spawn, which results in the incentive to respawn in order to maximize their RP gain. So this change should, in theory, result in more populated mid and late game matches, which in my opinion, and I suspect most of you will agree as well, results in a more enjoyable gameplay experience overall. And just in case you've been wondering about where night battles went, they now no longer appear by default in the queue and are supposed to occasionally show up if you opt into them. And the word occasionally is doing a lot of heavy lifting here, because so far no one that I've asked says they've seen a night battle since the update. Either way, this is still a great change, especially for those who enjoy night battles, and in fact, you can get some pretty nice decorations and decals for participating. And while the removal of night battles was pretty much due to players complaining about being stuck and having no night vision, and the flares dropping all over the place, ruining visibility, luckily it seems they aren't just planning to introduce an opt-in or out option, because they have mentioned that for vehicles that have thermals and night vision, they're going to give you night vision stock and have thermals as a researchable mod. And for vehicles that only have night vision, that will come stock as well. And we really can't make this video without mentioning the Aardvark in some way, can we? So now it finally has its unique ejection animation, which means the entire cockpit in a module ejects with both pilots. This means that the F-111 joins the KA-50 and 52 in having a unique ejection animation. But that's not the only thing that it shares with the KA-52, as the F-111 also comes with a missile approach warning system and automatic countermeasure deployment, which is a first in War Thunder when it comes to planes. Oh, and for those of you who are curious about the hidden changes in the previous update, Sons of Attila, you're going to want to watch this video on the screen next.